if we want to understand Dante, we have to understand the ideal of courtly love. This is being much misunderstood. It's tied in with ideas of chivalry. And I'm going to draw on the work of Bruce McLennan, a Dante scholar here, to dive a bit more deeply into what courtly love actually is and what it isn't. So ancient philosophers, for instance, Plato, distinguished normal sexual pleasure, which was associated with Venus, from passionate love, which was associated with Eros. They consider that kind of divine madness or ecstasy. The word enthusiasm, for instance, comes from this idea. It literally means God, having a God in you, theos, entheos. So passion is possession by a god, basically Eros, the god of love, and therefore you're in contact with the divine. So in psychological terms, when you love, a man and a woman love passionately, that means they're both possessed, because they're both participating in this archetypal relation, and that's a kind of an eternal image that they are participating in. In a Neoplatonist sense, they said that the lover is possessed by Eros, and then the beloved is possessed by Anteros, who's described as a dark youth. So if the beloved is a woman, then she would be experienced by the lover as a manifestation of the eternal feminine. So if you think about Dante and think about his relationship to Beatrice, this is very much what comes through. So we can say that the lover and the beloved idealize each other. Of course, in the feudal world, just like the ancient world, just like now, married life isn't particularly conducive to passionate love, and generally that occurred outside of marriage. Now, that didn't mean that courtly love involved having an affair. It was very often not. It was considered to be a failure if it became a physical relationship, but it can be understood as a spiritual practice in which you, as the lover, you invoke possession by Eros, and the beloved invokes possession by Anteros. And Anteros can be like divine wisdom. So the lover longs for and comes to know and ultimately unites with divinity. The beloved comes to identify with divinity and to experience the flow of divine wisdom through herself. And then both are elevated for a short amount of time into the celestial realm. And the lover would refer to the beloved by a kind of a title or a secret name, such as precious stone beyond all others or something like that. And it would disguise her identity because she's probably married to someone else, and have the spiritual effect of reminding them both that she was representing the eternal beloved, so they should behave accordingly. Then this was meant to effect a transformation of consciousness, because according to the psychological theories of the time, there's a dormant intellectual part of the soul, and that can only be awakened by an external force called active intellect or wisdom or intelligence or the angel of knowledge or something like that. And essentially, when that happens, you experience the marriage of intellect and love. Now, that is something that Dante explicitly affirms as part of his program for his poetry. He wants to, when he first goes on the walk and hears this female voice talking about the woman who has the intellect of love, it's this union of intellectus and amoris, which is a union of love and knowledge, which is a central part of Christian mysticism. But the there's kind of three stages of the lover's love for his lady, and it progresses through these stages. So first of all, he loves the physical beauty of his beloved, the beauty of her body. And if we think how often people might get stuck on that nowadays, it's the lowest of the levels. The next stage is love for the moral beauty of his beloved, the beauty of her soul. And then finally, it's love for the divine beauty of his beloved, the beauty of the intellect, or God within, the divine part. So in the beginning, the lover petitions his prospective beloved by offers of service, songs or poems of praise, and then proves his sincerity for the beloved, and then he shows his longing for her. In time, she, as representative of wisdom, might agree to being his beloved, and then they swear this oath that binds them together. She gives him the kiss of peace and gives him a ring, symbolizing their bond is unending. And also we might read that the beloved saluted her lover, and that's famously what, at the age of 18, Beatrice did to Dante. She saluted him in the street. This salute, obviously, in Italian, salute means both salvation and a greeting as well. So it's a salutation and it's salvation at the same time. So it's very symbolically significant, the salute. It's a blessing by the lady as representative of the beloved. And then the lover then undertakes these tasks in service to the beloved to prove his faithfulness. So, we can see these things in the Grail legends and so on. So, and there's various kinds of tasks that you can do. You can perform service, be separated from your love. You can suffer for the beloved. Being chaste is another example, and so on. So these are all the courtly love, as described, is a kind of special kind of joy of love, which is not to be confused with a kind of an ordinary marital relationship, but one in which the lover and the beloved become for each other a kind of guide to mystical union with the divine.